Hello everyone, my name's Kimmi Ray. Welcome back to my channel, and boy has it been a long time. I'm sorry for my mini hiatus, it was much needed though. Today I'm going to talk to you about World of Dance because it's a show that I watched last season and I'm watching this season, which is much longer than last season, which is kind of a bad thing because I'm getting kind of bored. There have been some really good dances, and because I'm so into dance, I love dancing and it's such a passion of mine, I kind of wanted to talk about it. So the first round of World of Dance is called the Qualifiers, where it's exactly what it sounds like. You either qualify to be on the show or you don't. So in no particular order at all, because I didn't want to like rank the dances, I have some dances that like really stood out to me in the qualifier rounds. The first one being the Desi Hoppers, because I love the fact that they mix hip hop and their culture and India. Like, I love that, and they're so in sync and they come up with like such cool things, and it was just like a joy to watch them. The second being bdash and konkrete. Now, I can't crump to save my life. I wish I could crump. I've tried crumping, but my body just doesn't do that, I guess. But I've never seen, like, crumping is something that you kind of do like on your own. It's a very like street battle kind of dance, and seeing them do it together in sync and so like precise is just fantastic. I loved their qualifier dance. It was great. L&J. L&J is, for some reason for me, very easy to forget, which is kind of what doesn't make them good. Like, I want to remember your performance, but when I see their performance, again, like when I look up on YouTube and I watch it, I'm like, wow, they were so good. Why do I forget you? I think it's just because there's so many couple dances, and as I said, the season is so long and you tend to forget people. They happen to be one of the people I forget, but they're actually really good and I want them to go far. Another group I really liked was Pursuit. First off, I think it's really funny that they're named Pursuit and they wear suits, but they're also named Pursuit because they're pursuing their dreams. It's like a double entendre kind of thing, and I dig it. They're so different. They're very abstract. They have very abstract movements, and they like move their arms like this, but they're like so together. And for some group that's like so abstract and they're doing such weird movements, the fact that they were so together in the qualifier round, I was blown away. Marinspired. Can we just take a second and just appreciate Marinspired, because I've never seen two men dance so intimately together about, like, especially the story of the dance. It was very like relationship, we have problems kind of thing, and I loved that. I've never seen something of the sort. Another dance that was super abstract but so good, and it was something I've never seen before. You don't really see two men dance very intimately in like contemporary duo kind of thing together. It was so fresh, so new, and we need more things like that today. The bradas. Now, I loved the bradas qualifier dance. Like, the whole like bag thing where he jumped through the loop of the bag. And even in the beginning where they like all backflipped together and they were like together. They were together. I don't know how you backflip all at the same time and land all at the same time, but kudos to you. It was great. Poreotics. Now, I've been a fan of poreotics since like America's Best Dance Crew, which was years ago. Now, I know I don't look that old. Not that America's Best Dance Crew is like the oldest show ever or anything, but like it was years ago that America's Best Dance Crew was a thing. And I was a fan of poreotics then, and I'm a fan of poreotics now. Their movements, their robotics that they do are so concise, so clean, and they hit them. And they're just always together. And then I loved that when the song kind of picked up, they were like, and it almost became like funny, but it was still good. And I love that they bring themselves to their performance. Like, poreotics is kind of a goofy group, but they still take it seriously. Those two things like put together, like taking it seriously but also being funny and then having great performance and really together, like it all meshes together to make a perfect sandwich of a dance. Josh and Taylor. Now Josh and Taylor is another one that I tend to forget about, but as I said, I think it's because there's so many duo dances. But they were really good. Like when Josh like went through the chair, like that was cool. The with the chair, that was cool. Loved that. It was so subtle and so small, but the smallest things can make like the biggest impacts within a dance, and that was one of them. The Lab. Now the Lab was on last season, but they came back this season and killed it. They are so much better than last season, and they are really bringing it all on the dance floor. The fact that they're so young, there's like an 8-year-old and 9-year-old, and they are cranking out the hip-hop moves, and they're amazing. Sean and Kaycee. Sean and Kaycee is someone that you literally can't forget about because of how quick their movements are, but how precise they are. And the fact that Sean choreographs their routines at 16 years old, and it's like perfect and flawless. Good for you, Sean. I wouldn't be able to do that, and I'm 22 years old. They're like one of the top people that I would maybe want to win, but we'll see what happens. Karen and Ricardo! What? Their qualifier dance was nuts. Those turns where she just kept going and then she comes up and just continues dancing like she's not dizzy. You just did 30-something turns, girl. How the hell are you still dancing? But the fact that they got like a 97 whatever and it was the first round, like kudos. They were phenomenal. They're another group that I like am really rooting for. And the last qualifiers dance that I like really thoroughly enjoyed was Connection. I loved their faces. I loved their energy. They were a lot of fun to watch. The guy that was like, hey! Like, it was hysterical, but so good. And rooting for them as well. So that's all the qualifier round dances that I like really enjoyed and the ones that I like really want to see go through. The duels aren't over yet, but there are very few duel dances that I've like really liked. So I'm going to talk about the ones that I like for now. I know there's only one episode left of the duels, but I'm just gonna whip it out in this video. bdash and Konkrete, of course. I think that their duel dance was better than their qualifier dance. I loved that it had a story. I loved that they kept to their characters. And they just had some really cool moves and they were super clean. I know that the judges said that they liked their qualifier dance better than this one because they focused on the story too much. But I personally like their duel dance better. But that's just my opinion. The Lab. The Lab's duel dance, honestly, I think the Lab should have gotten a higher score for their duel dance because they were so clean that they were crisp. Trey that like flips and like pauses in midair and then like hits the ground when the music drops. I was literally like out of my seat going like, oh! It was so good, and they're so young and so little, but they hit it so hard. As I said, I think they should have gotten a higher score than they did. I was pretty bummed out. I thought they did better. Sean and Kaycee, again. Their second dance was very different from their first dance. Their first dance was more of like, had a contemporary feel, and I feel like their second dance had more of like a hip-hop feel. They still had their elements in both, but it was different, but I loved it. It was so good. And I want to see more from them so much. Now, the next person, I really liked their duel dance, but I wasn't a fan of their qualifier dance. Their duel dance was great. Freshh, with 2 H's. Their duel dance like really brought it to another level, and they were like super groovy, but so together, and like the moments that they like slowed down, you like really were like, yeah, but they didn't make it through. Womp. And the last duel dance that I like thoroughly enjoyed was the funkywunks. Funkywunks were groovy as hell. They did like the coolest things, and they also didn't make it through. Connection did, but that was one of the duels that I was like, if either one of those teams went through, I would be happy, but if either one of those teams left, I would be sad. So like I was really sad to see the funkywunks leave, but also really happy to see Connection go through. It was super close. I personally think that the funkywunks did better in that specific duel, but Connection has the potential to do really well as well, so I'm not too worried about it. So I didn't really like as many duel dances as I really thought I was gonna like, because I loved a lot of the qualifiers, but the duel dances, some of them just fell short for me. We'll see what happens next episode, and maybe I'll talk about, you know, the final duel dances that I liked and when it goes into the cut or whatever. I really like talking about this stuff because I am a dancer and I love watching this show. As I said, it's a little bit long and can get kind of boring, but when the dances are on, I'm like glued to the TV unless they're not good, which there have been some of those. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you agree with anything that I've said, whether you like Shawn and Kaycee or you don't like Fresh's duel dance or whatever. Like, let me know. I love talking about things and I love hearing people's opinions. And subscribe to my channel for more. I will actually be putting things out. I know as I said, I've been on a mini hiatus, but that is over with, and I will see you guys next week. Goodbye.